landscape of Gothic art and imagery is changing, and so I'm going to do a really quick overview of 5 new types of goth that I think are going to be getting big in the next few years. This will probably be a pretty short video. So, first of all, what is Gothic imagery and art? Gothic imagery and art really is about the exploration of the boundaries between life and death, the beauty of life and the beauty of death, and then the ugliness of life and the ugliness of death. It's about that interplay that is kind of the point of Gothic everything. So, the first big genre that I think we're going to see a lot of is Western Goth. This is starting to get really big right now. As you can see, the art really focuses around, first of all, the religiosity of the Old West, as well as some of the darkness and terror that was found therein. I think that not a lot of brands are exploring this right now. Right now, a lot of Gothic clothing and art has been focused around kind of what I call the heavy metal aesthetic. I don't call it that. That's what it's called, which is kind of getting beaten to death. It's really bland now. But at this point where Red Dead Redemption's super popular, the Hunt Showdown is really popular, you're going to see more of that crossover between Red Dead Redemption, maybe a couple of the horror like quests, and the Hunt Showdown and other like Western horror style art and things like that. So I think that this is actually going to get really popular, and I actually think that this kind of fashion, you can see like big long cloaks, black hats, desert witch kind of thing. I think that that's going to get really, really big over the next few years. Slav Goth. Now this is sometimes called doomerwave, but doomerwave and Slav Goth are a little bit different from each other. Slavic Gothic is really seeing a big resurgence right now. Now, part of it is due to the resurgence in interest in Orthodoxy. But basically, Slavic Gothic is about the interplay between religiosity and the complete unending despair of post-Bolshevik winter. Over here, we've got, this is a Polish photographer, I believe, who took this photo. This is a Ukrainian, or it's a photo, it's photography, but it is a depiction of a Ukrainian harvest goddess from a long, long time ago. Obviously we're dealing a lot with Orthodoxy. This is a Orthodox or Coptic monk of some sort, a hierophant with his censer. Another example here of just kind of the interesting interplay between darkness, violence, and religiosity, or religion in general. Churches in the Onion Domes all feature very heavily. I think this is actually the same church, which is fascinating. Whimsigoth. Now this one I think is highly, highly underrated. And I actually think that Whimsigoth is going to be getting way bigger. And so if you are a clothing brand and you're looking to capitalize on a new kind of goth imagery without just going to the same tried and true heavy metal iconography, Whimsigoth is where it's at. Whimsigoth really focuses on the beauty of Gothic art and imagery, but also the femininity of Gothic art and imagery, the interplay between death and beauty. So a lot of flowers, a lot of stained glass. This is like a little rat with flower crown. I put together like some of these things, right? So obviously same Gothic structures and imagery that we're seeing in other places, but a much heavier interest in the femininity of it, and brighter colors, and in that, like there's still that deep, grim, somewhat macabre interest in Gothic, Gothic themes. However, at the same time, you're seeing more of an influence or interest in the feminine side of it, and I think Whimsigoth right now would be really, really big for any kind of clothing brand that's especially focused on women's clothing. Minimum is right now almost completely unisex. There's some female clothing items that I want to make down the road, but I don't really know how to make them just yet, because I make everything based on my own personal experience. What would I find to be the ultimate expression of this clothing type? So, you know, I don't wear crop tops, I don't wear tank tops. So I don't know what would make it good, to be frank with you. And I don't think that just throwing a design on a female piece of clothing is enough to make it stand out. So anyway, I'm not worried about that right now. If you are a clothing brand that's focused on selling to goth women, moving your art in a Whimsigoth direction would be really, really fantastic for you. Better than just kind of like Dollskill with their black polyester everything. Cybergoth. This one, I've been doing some product market testing with Cybergoth stuff, and it is blowing up. So I'm going to do a Cybergoth drop November probably. People really feel like goth. Now, obviously, everyone is feeling the feelings that resonate with them, right? The gothic themes that resonate with them: death, strictures of religion, fear, terror, you know, things like that. But also, I think that the digital age has really heightened a lot of these feelings, and so digital goth is, or cybergoth basically, is a really great theme that people can explore, to kind of explore why people are feeling so caged by technology, and maybe some of the divine machinery aesthetic that's related to how we worship technology. So I think that there's a lot to explore here, and I think that this is going to continue to get really, really big into 2025, 2026. Modvamp. Now this one is getting big as well. A lot of people who are alt scene, emo, goth right now are getting into, they're kind of leaving their early career and they're moving into their mid career, which means they have a lot more money. And when they have a lot more money and they have a lot more power, they want to look a little bit more refined, but they still want to be goth. And so this is where modvamp comes in. It's kind of a combination of clean goth and corpo goth. And basically it's asking yourself the question, what would a modern vampire wear and do? Vampires, obviously, they're aristocracy. Okay. Vampires have always been about aristocracy. I mean, the very first one that we, you know, most people learn about is Count Dracula, who is royalty who lives in a castle. And this modvamp aesthetic is really about what would a very wealthy modern vampire live like, and what would their house look like. What's a more refined take on gothic? And I think that modvamp has a lot to offer. I think that if I ever start offering more refined pieces that aren't just streetwear, obviously I'll do it under a different brand, probably maybe the Lowell Stevens name. But what would people wear if they were, you know, a vampire in downtown Chicago, or in Manhattan, or, you know, or Tokyo or Seoul, somewhere that's like super, you know, like wealthy? What would that look like? And I think that this kind of aesthetic is actually super underserved right now, and I'm really excited to see more of it get kind of get explored as we move forward into more gothic fashion that doesn't have to just be torn black lace and trip pants. So anyway, that's it for this video. It's a lot shorter than my other ones, but that's probably a better thing anyway. So hope you enjoyed, and please like and subscribe if you like this. If you didn't like this, leave a comment and tell me to stop making videos. I won't stop making videos, but I will cry about your comment.